Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid Done right here on Rapid TV. My name is Martha Alu.
And my name is Victor. Okay, glad to have you back on the 9 o'clock hour.
Yes, as we stated before we went off, 9 o'clock hour, usually a time where we have the big conversation. And yesterday was World Cancer Day.
Right.
Yeah. And in commemoration of that day, we're having this conversation. And interestingly, with a perspective that you'd love to hear. Now, we know that cancer is no longer a distant health issue. It is a present and growing reality, and globally, millions of new cases are recorded every year, and low and middle income countries now carry a disproportionate share of cancer deaths, largely due to late detection, limited access to care, and persistent misinformation. Such a big issue. Now, in Nigeria, studies and hospitals record consistently show that a significant number of cancer cases are diagnosed at advanced stages when treatment is more complex, more expensive, and survival rates drop sharply. Yet experts agree that on one critical fact, many cancers are preventable, treatable, and survivable when detected early. In fact, if you follow us here on Rapid Dawn, we reiterate every time that most illnesses are preventable, are curable, if only you detect them on time. And it's not about you detecting and self-medicating. It's detecting and going to a hospital to get diagnosed and then eventually treated. So the question is no longer whether cancer is a problem. The real questions are, why are we still losing so many lives to silence? What role does awareness play in survival? And how do lived experience and education intersect to change outcomes? Today's conversations bring together data and humanity, the voice of a survivor, which I think is the most interesting part of the conversation today, who has lived the reality behind the statistics and the expertise of an advocate and educator working at the intersection of research, policy, and public awareness. Now, this is not just a conversation about cancer, it is about knowledge, it is about spreading the right narrative, spreading the right information, and hearing, maybe to encourage someone out there, hearing directly from her. Today, to join us with this conversation is GLORIA CHINYERE, OKWU, and she is a Senior Information Officer, National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, and founder, Gloria's Cancer Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us on the show this morning.
Thank you so much, Master.
You have such a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
Good morning and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Victor. Thanks for having me.
All right. Now, first of all, before we ask about your experience, let's talk about the World Cancer Day. Why is it so important to set aside this day to either remember people that are suffering these or to have conversations generally about cancer? Why is it such an important day to commemorate?
Yes, it's so important because cancer has become a global epidemic, and it's important that the whole world should have a day where everyone, focuses on this big disease that is costing so many lives. And on World Cancer Day, what we do majorly is to create awareness, talk about cancer, talk about especially prevention, so that people know what it is, dispel the myths, and move people, into action. Let them scream. And also to teach them that it's not a death sentence. Early detection saves life, and of course to also honor those that have been taken and to celebrate those that are still alive. So World Cancer Day captures every spectrum of what cancer is and how it affects people. But basically, it is to create awareness that this disease exists, and we should take action to protect ourselves.
Okay.
And of course, we talked about the fact that this day is being celebrated to ensure that people are aware and get to know what cancer really is. Now, would you tell us what cancer is now?
Okay. I'll break it down. I'm not a health professional,
Yes,
but
just in your view.
Yes, but cancer is a disease that up till now we're not sure what exactly causes it. Just that we know that basic biology, the cells in the body are supposed to die and get replaced after a while to continue bodily functions. Unfortunately, due to DNA damage, most of the time, some cells would refuse to die, and then instead they start multiplying rapidly, more than the normal cells, and they can start clustering to form tumors, and that's when we say also what has a lump, especially for solid tumor cancers. And then these bad cells cluster and they start forming tumors, and where they start. The cancer is named after the particular place, maybe breast cancer, liver cancer, for instance, cancer of the eye, of the nose, of the mouth, or whatever. And so most times when the cancer starts at a particular place, it's not that one that kills, it's when it moves from the origin to distant organs, starts invading the tissues, invading the organs, or trying to shut down the whole system. That is when cancer actually kills.
Yes. Okay. What are the most common misconceptions about cancer? Because, like you said, we haven't been able to pinpoint exactly to say that this is exactly what causes cancer. In fact, there were times when people would come out to say, if you use this cream, you have skin cancer. If you use literally everything causes cancer because at this stage, and it is scary, and it's becoming really overwhelming.
Yes.
But following your lived experience, what are some of these misconceptions that you have heard about cancer that is not true?
Okay, I think the most shocking one and quite prevalent is that cancer is caused by a spiritual disease and should not be treated in the hospital. That is the most harmful myth, because people buy this hook, line and sinker. They don't go to the hospital when they should. They don't see a health professional. They refuse treatment outrightly and go to religious houses or try herbal remedies. I think another one is that bra causes breast cancer.
Okay.
They're not having sex could
What
cause
are we
cancer.
supposed to wear? Take it slow.
And, therefore cancer patients, they say, oh, don't eat carbohydrates anymore. It will help the cancer grow. There are so many myths, and that some of them are that people that have cancer are cursed. You must have done something bad for God to punish you with such a horrible disease. So there are so many misconceptions, honestly, about cancer. And even the HPV vaccine that's supposed to help children, help girls, prevent them to a very large extent from cervical cancer, they say it causes infertility.
Ooh.
Yes, so there is so much misconception going on.
But what is
cancer.
true?
Yes, what is true is that cancer is like every other disease, malaria, typhoid. It's just that, yes, it might be more severe, but of course it is still a disease, like every other disease. And what we will do is, because it's a more severe disease, for us to take more serious actions to prevent and to treat. Yes, but it is just a disease. No one goes through cancer because they are being punished, because God hates them. No, it's a disease like every other disease. And of course, wearing bras does not cause cancer. Not having sex does not cause cancer. There are so many misconceptions about cancer that is not true. And of course, carbohydrate does not cause cancer. Please, cancer patients should eat food. Some actually want to starve. Some actually have starved to death. Yes, malnourished. Don't eat this. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. And when you take away carbohydrates, you've lifted a whole class of food. Yeah,
from your diet.
Yes, from your diet. And where do you want to make up
from what is lost?
From yes.
You are a survivor.
Yeah.
Your story, could be seen as one of courage. And we're so grateful that you survived.
Thank you.
Yeah, but tell us, what kind of cancer did you have, and how serious was it when it was first diagnosed?
No, I had breast cancer. Yes, and that was I was diagnosed 2017, although I found a lump in 2016. Yes, and it took me like 7 months to get diagnosed. Nigerian factor, delaying results, and my factor also not having enough money at the time to follow through as quickly as I should. So it took me 7 months to diagnose, and it was at stage 2. Yes, which is considered still early. Yes, but my case is quite different. Like we said, no two cancer journeys are exactly the same. Every journey is unique in its own way. And I got treated. Okay, not really. I had a mastectomy. Yes, they removed the entire left breast. And after that, I thought I was fine. Even though I was asked to do chemotherapy and radiotherapy, I was scared because people said, oh, chemo will kill you. Under misconception, chemo will kill you. In fact, a health professional I respected told me chemo would kill me. And so I was so scared. I didn't go for chemo. I didn't even have the money. So two things were playing out at the time. And so I said, oh, since I removed the breast and it's stage 2, it didn't spread, so I'm fine. And I moved on with my life until 16 months later, lumps started growing on the chest wall where the breast was removed. And I've removed like, I've done surgery on that wall like 8 times, removing tumors through 9 years that I've been surviving. Yes, and unfortunately, in 2022, the cancer spread to the bone. I don't know how long it has been in my bone because I've been having consistent pain in the bone, which I ignored or was even diagnosed as arthritis until 2022 when it became unbearable. I could no longer sleep because of pains, and I was reevaluated again, and they realized it was cancer that has spread to the bone, my hip bone. And so it's now distant, has moved to from the breast to the bones. So that's metastasis. And that's quite risky. So yeah, for the bone, I was trying to manage it, take my medications. Of course, when it spreads, it becomes more difficult, more medicines, more expensive, mentally taxing. And of course, you're afraid that I might just, that's when the real fear of death starts. So I moved to the bones, and after a while, while trying to manage it at the bones, 2023, I noticed I started having fever. I'm not a sick person, even with cancer, I'm hardly sick. So I went back and checked, and it had moved to the lungs, to the liver, to some parts of the, some of my rib bones have also been affected. And that is where I am now. So I'm trying hard to fight back, to keep pushing it back. I had a very bad relapse last year. It's, because of the infection in my lungs, it's so much water was stored in my, so much water, I don't know where. Those kind of water, they removed like up to 3 to 4 liters of water was drew from both lungs, because of the cancer last year. But I'm still here.
I'm still here.
That's something to be grateful for.
Something to really be grateful for. And when the scare of cancer first, you said that's the real fear of death. But when people are being diagnosed, first of all, like you said, these misconceptions lead them to spend a lot of time in church. They don't actually seek medical evaluation because they think that it's the end of the road. And seeing as you have battled so much, 8 surgeries and you're still on, it's very, very commendable. It means that there's hope. But let's talk to the people who have given up completely on whether or not this can be treated or whether or not this can be managed. Let's talk to them.
Okay, so to those people that are scared, honestly, I always tell people you have every right to be afraid at whatever stage you're diagnosed, because cancer is quite tricky. As I've been a patient advocate for like 7 years, and today I think I've seen it all with cancer. I think I've understood, and then tomorrow you hear something new, something entirely different, like, wow, what is happening here? And people have the right to be afraid because you're not, there's no 100% with cancer. Now, I've seen people who are diagnosed at stage 1 and eventually the cancer comes back at stage 4. Sometimes it comes back more aggressive and it kills the person. So people have the right to be afraid. I just tell them, don't allow this fear to take over your life, because every story is not the same. That Mr. A died from it does not mean you're going to die. That mine has been recurrent and quite stressful does not mean that's everybody's story. I know people that, I know someone that has been 23 years, no recurrence. After 23 years of treatment, she's fine, no recurrence, she's just living her best life. People at 15 years, 20 years, no recurrence, no issues. So mine is different. Does not mean this is the yardstick to measure. And it's also because when you say somebody has cancer, they're likely to remember someone that died and someone that is alive. Because we that are alive hardly talk about it. So you just know that, oh, my neighbor died of cancer, I'm going to die. But if you know that your church member, your colleague is battling cancer and is still alive, you have hope immediately you hear, I have cancer. So that's why I tell patients, I tell other survivors, we have to keep talking. We have to tell people we are surviving. No matter how difficult it is, the fact is you are surviving. And once you're alive, there is hope.
Truly.
Okay, you talked about the relapse, which is what I want to still emphasize on, because some people have relapse, some people, like you rightly stated, are totally free from it. Have you been explained to, because I know that once you leave the experience, you are fully aware of most of the situations, diagnoses, treatments, and what have you. What do you think is responsible for these differences in relapse, and what can be done? Is there anything that you've been advised to do as an individual or generally?
Medically, there is nothing that we've been told to do to avoid the relapse. So sometimes after the treatment, like me, after my treatment, I was placed on 5-year hormonal therapy. Some people are placed for 10 years. I was on that medication when it's recurred, when I had my relapse. So Nobody's sure what to do. You know, you are just advised to eat well, you know, have this strict healthy diet, exercise, be in a healthy environment, avoid toxicity, avoid stress, all those things are triggers, you know. But you're not really sure what to do, because even sometimes the medications we take could also cause secondary cancers. Yeah, so you're not sure exactly what to do, but you're just advised to live a healthy life and leave the rest up to God. But the stage at which you are diagnosed, of course, plays a vital role. So if you are diagnosed at stage 1, of course, someone that's caught there as a stage 4, you know, is at more risk than someone who was diagnosed at stage 1. Yes. And then you're also asked to be very, very attentive to your body. So the fact that you're done with treatment doesn't mean that, oh, everything is fine and you just go back. No. They tell you to come back 3 months time, please go back. Come back 6 months time, please go back. So they keep checking. So if there's any relapse or anything, they catch it very early again, and they're able to respond with treatment. Not when somebody is down and almost dying and there's little the hospital can do at that time. So vigilance is very, very important. Very important.
Talking about vigilance, you know, before your diagnosis, you know, were there signs and symptoms that made you suspect that something was wrong?
Yes, the symptom I saw was a lump. But let me point something out clearly. At that time, I didn't know much. That's why I'm out here creating this awareness, honestly, talking about these things. Because if someone had spoken about it and I knew about it, I would have taken, you know, actions quickly. Yes, I wouldn't have waited for 7 months to get a diagnosis. Because who knows what's... But that 7 months, in fact, I already spread to my lymph nodes. And that 7 months, if I had taken action early, maybe it would have been at stage 1 that I would have got it. Yeah, so... the first symptom I noticed was a lump, and it wasn't like I was checking the normal breast checks we had been advised to do. No, I wasn't checking. Just by accident, I noticed that something is hard here. Yes, that was how I discovered. And by the next year, because that was August 2016, by March, early March, and I noticed dimpled skin. Yes, dimpled skin. Yes, that was the second symptom I noticed. Yes.
So those were things that you noticed that
were out of the ordinary. Yes, a lump and then a dimpled skin. But the dimpled skin happened after the biopsy had been taken. Yes, so the breast was swollen a bit, and then I saw that the skin had dimpled.
All right, let's talk about support, because I think that before we go to support, let's talk about chemotherapy. Because we have seen, I've seen a lot of these movies where once the patient goes on chemotherapy, there are very adverse effects of chemo on the person. Talk to us about that.
Side effects, good. Okay, so yes, chemotherapy is something else. For me, I don't know about other patients, I think it is the most stressful part of cancer, even more than the surgery. Honestly, the surgery took away a part of me, took away a part of my femininity. But chemo, God, the side effects could be immediate, some could be lifelong. Yes, in fact, yes, this man was telling me I wanted to smile to take a picture. We had a patient gathering yesterday, and they came to take a picture of her, and she wanted to smile and her lips were shaking. Yes, her lips were shaking, as she could no longer feel her hands, neuropathy, very weird side effects. Some people even want to take fingerprints, and it's not showing because of chemo. Damage to organs, loss of hair. That's like the most common
side effect people.
Yes, honestly, I don't even have hair right now.
Are you serious?
Thank God for weeks. I don't have hair. My lashes are gone. My brows are gone. Lashes are gone. Even the hairs I used to have on my hair, everything, no hair on my body. Yes, because of chemotherapy. Yes, but even for me, I think it's mild. I'm quite lucky. Chemo has always been mild on me. I've seen people go through so many harsh side effects. But, once you're done with the treatment, those things start, most of them start reversing. Yes, the body starts rebuilding. This is because chemo is not intelligent enough to differentiate the good and the bad cells. So it just kills every good cell that mimics the characteristics of cancer cells, fast dividing and all that. Just keeps clearing them along the way. And the cells of the hair are some of those cells that mimic, that
the cancer cells replicate.
Yes, they divide rapidly, so they just kill them and assume they're also cancer cells. But if I stop chemo today, my hair will start growing back again. Yes, some of the veins will start reducing and all of that. Yeah. So I advise people, chemo, yes, there's no point hiding the truth. Saying chemo is really, really hard on people. But the advantages always outweighs the disadvantages. Yeah, so I have a wig on. If I don't tell you now, you will know that.
How long have you been on chemotherapy?
Okay, I had to start again because of the relapse. Yes, so I started from September last year. So I've been on chemo up till now. I don't know when I'm going to stop this session. It might take a while because of the spread. Okay. So it might take a while, it might take years. I don't know, but I'm currently on chemo.
What of the affordability and access to care for patients? Because I'm thinking top of my head that chemotherapy is usually very expensive, and having to run it for a very long period of time, you would need support, not just from friends, family. The government also needs to come in at some point, making sure that care like this is accessible and affordable for people who happen to find themselves in situations like this. So talk to us about, the cost implicated nature of both cancer and chemotherapy.
Yes. Chemotherapy is quite expensive, very, very expensive, honestly. And depending on the kind of cancer, the stage, the person, so many factors doctors put in place to know what chemo suits each person. That is how the cost also varies. Okay. But at every level it's expensive. So for me now, if I'm to take my medication the way, use good medicines, branded medicines, I'm supposed to spend at least 350,000 every 3 weeks.
Well, for the chemotherapy?
Yes, and that is considered cheap.
Wow.
Yes, because yesterday I was talking to somebody, she needs about 1.3 million every 3 weeks. So sometimes patients want to live, they want to survive, they have this drive, but how affordable are the medicines? Someone sent a message to somebody on our support group and she said, oh, I've tried, but at this stage I can no longer continue. I've exhausted everything I have. I can't continue. And I keep asking myself, will I get to that point too, where I say, oh, I don't have money. If I don't have money, that's the truth.
Yeah.
I have bills to pay. I have 3 kids I'm single-handedly managing. I have other things to do with life. So imagine affording that, looking for that money every time. That is just the money for chemo. It's not money for medication, investigations, and other things that come with cancer. Of course, I have to buy wigs. You have to.
That's valid.
That's valid, though.
But what does the cost differ? Because you mentioned you spend 350,000 naira in every 3 weeks.
Yes.
But some other person spends over ₦1 million. What does the cost differ?
Yes, so it depends on the kind of cancer, like I said. So someone who has HER2 positive cancer, for instance, will definitely spend more than me because they need more targeted. They have some targeted therapies to do that are very expensive. Then mine on this side, this is my cost, and of course the government is making efforts. Honestly, even though we are not where we are, I'm not going to say that they're not trying. Yes, there's the Cancer Health Fund that helps patients to support them with treatments. And honestly, Cancer Health Fund helps me a lot through last year. It might not be the same story for every patient, but for me, it did help me because at that time, at the point 2 years ago rather, my medication was about 1.2 million every month.
Wow.
Yes, and the Cancer Health Fund catered to up to 80% of that cost. So it was quite a relief for me. And of course, some people benefit from the National Health Insurance Agency. Yes, some people benefit from that as well, covering some cost of investigations, hospital stays, and all of that. So I benefited from the Cancer Health Fund. But sometimes in the hospital, the medications are not available. I still have to source out of pocket.
Wow.
That is where my indefatigable, is that the word? Friends come in and family. Honestly, it's quite taxing to always keep texting your friends, please, I have chemo, I don't have money, or they start training money. Sometimes some of them get tired, they don't take your calls. Some of them say, I'll be there till the end. Some start suggesting to you other ways to, to make money, to raise money. And honestly, I had this conversation with a few friends just a few days ago, and I don't know if it's okay to give a shout out to them, but God, I have a very good support system.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kemi Adekonye, thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to Gochukwu Lotana. These two people just, and Joe Batabo. 3 of them, I was discussing with them just a few days ago, and I was like, I don't have money anymore for chemo. They were like, hey, we are here, just how can we train something? How can we get other people to support you every month? We can bring 10,000, 5,000. If you can bring a pool of people who can keep pushing you. Sometimes that is all we need to just stay alive. The fact that people are still willing, even when you're about to give up, sometimes that is just all you need to keep.
Wow.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for sharing
Thank
with
you.
us. Honestly, it's such a moment, because I mean, you don't know how, the fact that you don't know how long you're going to keep driving for is one thing. But I'm grateful that you have very supportive friends out there who are willing to take you through it. But it's half of the hour already, which means that we need to go on a very quick break. After that, we'll be back to have more conversations with Gloria. Please stay with us. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. It's still Rapid On right here on Rapid TV. And just before the break, we have been hanging out with Gloria CHINYERE OKWU, and she is a survivor, not just a survivor, Senior Information Officer, National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, and the founder of Gloria's Cancer Foundation. Thank you so much again. It's been an absolute delight speaking with you.
Thank you, Martha.
Yes, I would have asked, what's the initiative or what's the drive behind the Gloria Cancer Foundation? But now I already know it's to help other people, right? But I want to ask, how has that been for you in general? Now, before you answer that, let's even go back to the basics. What was your first, when you were first diagnosed, what was your reaction? How did you feel? How did that make you feel? What did you say? What did you, I mean, all of this. And then we go to your drive. What made you start that foundation, and how the journey has been for you so far?
Okay. Yes, so when I was told I had cancer, I honestly, I didn't suspect. I never suspected, because even when I was checked initially, I was 32. So the doctor said, oh, you know, it's nothing. It's just benign lump. So you just take it out and you'll be fine. But just do some scans. Let's just be very sure. So because of my age, believing that, I'm young for cancer and there's no history, I didn't know there was history at the time. I said, there's no history. I said, I'm fine. It can't be anything. And so when I was told, in a very harsh way, of course, the doctor just said, on the day of my biopsy, that's the day, the doctor was sure. He just took out the sample and looked and said, Madam, this thing looks like cancer. And if it's cancer, we're going to chop off your breast. Those were his exact words.
Whoa. Just like that?
Yes.
What hospital? Is it in Abuja?
Yes, here in Abuja. And when he said that, I don't know, everywhere just, it's like everywhere just became blood. Yeah, everywhere just blood. You know, it was like a dark cover was pulled over my head. I just saw darkness. And he was saying something, but I was no longer listening to him. I just saw his lips moving. I was staring at him. I was just thinking of my children. I just said, God, what am I leaving these 3 kids for? Then I thought of my certificate. You know, I just finished my convocation 1 week earlier. In fact, less than a week earlier before this diagnosis. And I was so happy that finally I went back to school. I know I got married very early and all of that. After the divorce and all those drama, I was able to go back to school. So, you know, the excitement of, it's like I'm getting my life together now. It was still in my head. So my mind went back quickly to the convocation. Went back. I said, wait, too. So I did everything I did, got a near perfect result for me to come and die and leave the children. And what is all of this? That's what I was just thinking. I was not listening to the doctor. I was just thinking of how I was going to die, you know, what I was going to lose if I die and all of that. Then next I started crying. I started crying. I cried and cried. This was, March 2017.
Okay.
Yes, March 2017. In fact, I think that was 1st of March.
Wow.
Yes, then I went for that biopsy. So that was how I got to know. You know, he sounded so sure, so I just knew it was cancer. Even before the results came out 1 week later, I've already told my mom. Everybody was like, you don't have faith. Stop saying this. I said, doctor sounded so sure. So when the results came out, I already cried for 1 week straight. No energy to cry again. I just started browsing everything. I did all this stuff. Before showing to my doctor, I browsed, I checked. I knew it was cancer. So I now asked, what next? I said, okay, so because of the location of the lump and because you seem to have a fairly large breast, we can operate and take out the lump, and then you go for radiotherapy, you go for radiations, and you take it off from there. So, of course, I chose that option. I didn't want to remove my breast. That's not good enough for me. I said, okay, I'll do that. So how much is it? They said, oh, no radio machine in Nigeria is working at the time.
Really?
Yes, that was 2017. They said no radio machine is functioning now. So you have to go to Ghana would you remove the lump? You go to Ghana for radiation. I said, how much? She said, $3,000 for the radiation. And I said, I can't afford that. I'm just out of school. I have children. I don't even know. My life is just not going in direction now, so I can't do that. What is the next option? I said, okay, we'll take out the breast entirely, and then we'll take it up from there. So that seemed cheaper. It was less than 100,000 at the time. So that was why I opted to remove my breast. Yes. So that was it. And of course, the anger. I was never in denial. If I look back now, I realize that I was never in denial. Like most people say, no, it's not true. It's not my portion. I was never in denial, but I had this real anger. I was very angry with God. I said, why am I the one that is having problems? Is it just me? Like, share the problem now. Why am I having problems, you know?
Just share the problem.
Yes, like from childhood trauma to a marriage that just ended, to going through school under very harsh circumstances, managing 3 kids along the way, and then having cancer just when I feel like I'm getting it together. Yes, so I was very angry, extremely angry for a lot of years. For many years I was angry.
Wow. But how is the foundation going now?
Yes, it's going very well. I started in 2022, you know, but I've been very low key with it because of the recurrent health issues. I was like, okay, when I'm done with this treatment, I will start, and then I have course to do another treatment again. Like, okay, let me finish this one, I will start, and I have to course to do. So this year I said, okay, since this treatment does not want to stop, I'm not putting anything on hold anymore. Because one thing with this disease is that tomorrow is not promised. Even the next moment is not promised. Right. So I'm not going to sit down and put anything on hold anymore. So I'm going to start this foundation anyhow, so that I can give back. I've been doing a lot personally, with my personal brand as a person, but I want to make it official. So I said I'm going to start. So I started, you know, this year, yes, officially, but it has been there since 2022.
Okay.
Yes. All right. Now, for someone who is watching you and is listening to everything that you've had to say, what would you advise lifestyle changes should people make? Because, you know, this thing used to be something else, popular cancer, especially in African nations. We didn't have a lot of statistics of people that were coming down with cancers and what have you. Even though we had at the time, it was not diagnosed, and like you said, we didn't have like the structure and the infrastructure to be able to say for sure that this is what it is and what have you. Now, what lifestyle changes would you advise that anyone who's watching should make just to stay clear of this route? Okay,
I think one of the biggest lifestyle changes is our diet. Yes, our diet. Like, we're just most people believe that cancer is an inherited disease because we inherited certain lifestyles. We're still inheriting diseases that come with those lifestyles. You know, changes in our eating habits, sedentary lifestyles, from your AC car to your AC house, your AC office, no time for exercise, you know, no time to live in, you know, natural environments. You know, everywhere is city, no natural life, a lot of pollutants in the air, from our body creams to our clothes, so much chemicals that we take in, from breathing, from what we use for the skin, from the food. There's so much that we take into the body that is not healthy. So as much as you can minimize these things, go natural as much as you can. And also, we should be more health conscious. We should screen, you know, at least for PSA, there are screenings that can catch it early. For breast cancer, you have checks that can help you notice abnormalities early. Cervical cancer even has a vaccine. Liver cancer can be prevented largely if you take the vaccine for hepatitis, because that's one of the causes of liver cancer. So we should screen as at when due, you know, so that whatever is there you can catch early for the cancers that you can actually screen for. Even for the ones you cannot screen for, if you notice, you know, your body usually whispers before it screams. So when your body is whispering to you, pay attention and, okay, let me check. Something is wrong with this, my body. Something is wrong with this breast. So it wasn't looking like this last week. Let me just check. You can catch cancer at stage 0. Yes, there's someone I know that caught it very, very early, and you know, she removed her breast out of her own choice because of panic. She removed it, but she was advised not to. She just removed the breast. She didn't do chemo, she didn't do radiation, and she's fine. Like, I know 2 women like that. The other woman removed 2 because of her history of cancer, family history. She removed the 2 breasts, no chemo, no radiation. She's 10 years into the journey. Yes, so early detection saves life. That is true. Yes, and then Something else is also for us to know our family history. So if you have a family history of cancer, you might be at risk. While we may not have all the tests here to ascertain who is at risk or not, you can, know that, okay, if my family to have recurrent cancers, especially when it happens with younger people, you should also adjust your lifestyle. Please don't smoke. Stay away from alcohol. Even the secondary smoking. That's one of the things I teach with my foundation. I go to the children, I tell them, please don't start smoking. Smoking is like one of the biggest causes of cancer. So if you modify those risk factors, we'll have less and less cases of cancer. Yes. And of course, be positive. Reduce stress, reduce all the toxicity that we pile up on ourselves. These things could be triggers.
Just talk to families as well that have cancer patients in their homes. What role can they play to support them and also help to create awareness about cancer?
Yes. To caregivers, I say you're doing an amazing job. It's not easy. Cancer is a disease of the community. That's why I always put it. It's not one person. One person is suffering, your kids are suffering, your mom is crying, your dad is looking for money, your siblings are raising money. Everybody is stressed. Everybody around you is stressed. So it's not just the patient. So please, we just have to keep supporting each other, because now they are saying 1 in 5 people will have cancer in their lifetime. 1 in 5 people. That means there's hardly any family that will escape this scourge. Now we've seen our health system is not doing too well. They are trying, but honestly, still not enough for the cases we have. Less oncologists, doctors leaving the country every day. So if we don't support each other, it's going to be dangerous. We have to support each other from going with chemo visits. Sometimes it's not just about money, a call, how are you doing? Sitting down to listen to the person, to understand what they are going through and offer physical support. Sometimes that is just all they need. Being there for them. In fact, honestly, this year I had friends that picked up my kids' child school fees. This one, I'm paying for this one, I'm paying for this one, school fees. You don't know the kind of relief that gave me. So sometimes these little things, send food, calls, prayers, be physically present. Imagine me coming out of the theater last year and my friends were standing by the theater door. I didn't call them. I just told one person. And that one person called the others and they were by the theater door. I was crying from pains when I was being wheeled out. And when I was coming, I just saw them standing and I just stopped crying. I cleaned my eyes. I just became happy. Because if they could leave everything they were doing, it means I'm important to them.
Yes, you are.
Yes,
and that made amazing friends.
Yes, that made me so happy. So support sometimes is everything. Honestly.
All right, thank you so much, Gloria. I mean, it's such a journey. I feel like you are one survivor.
Thank you.
One strong person, and it's important that the awareness about cancer is being put out there. That people are aware that it is possible to have it and still live your life.
Live your life. Very, very important. Very, very important.
Which is an example like I see you live through. Thank you so much again for sharing your journey.
Thank you so much, Martha. Thank you.
Thank you.
Exactly. So now we have to wrap this up. I mean, we keep going on and on. I bet I've asked Gloria a lot of questions after now, which I know she would be willing to answer.
Very true.
But yes, early detection is key. Lifestyle changes you must start to make them now. Don't wait until you are being diagnosed. Don't wait. It's important that you stay healthy, know the right meals to eat, the exercises you should take on, and what have you. It's important that you're safe. Very true. And I think I'm so glad that she has an amazing community, and that is the beauty of life, being an amazing friend, and also having amazing friends around you that can always support you in times of need. And to that, it's just a reminder that an act of kindness is so important, that we all need to be able to share love amongst ourselves as a community. Yes. All right, and this is where we draw the curtain this morning. Just to remind you, we are active across social media platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, on X, and on TikTok. It is at Rappi TV. On YouTube, allows you to watch all of our programs again at official Rappi TV. www.rbnradiotv.com is our website that allows you to connect with us from anywhere in the world. My name is Martha Alu. And my name is Victor Arke. We'll see you tomorrow.